Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to another video. Now today, we're looking at mice once again, because I've got my hands on this, the Xtrfy M3 Heaton, a gaming mouse that's sort of engineered for first-person shooters, or just any form of Twitch-based game. And the design of the mouse takes on a slightly different approach to some of the other mice I've seen, whereby the front section of the mouse is raised up slightly to almost tailor to the way your hand grips the mouse. In practice, I find that it is maybe a little bit raised for me, but of course it's purely down to personal taste. I don't find it uncomfortable, but I would maybe prefer that it was lowered a little bit, but again, it's going to be up to you. The top section of the mouse, you've got your left and right clicks. These use on switches and actually feel really good in operation. You've got a scroll wheel which is illuminated and has a click. You've also got illumination on the front of the mouse as well, with the Xtrfy logo and then the Heaton branding. The left side of the mouse, there's not really too many bells and whistles. You've just got your backwards and forward buttons, but these are really big, very easy to click, and if you rely on these for your gaming needs, then you're not going to have any mishits because you are hopefully going to be pressing the right button because it's very easy to do so. The right hand side of the mouse, there's not really anything here at all, but again it's sort of sculpted to fit your hand. The underside, you've got your sensor, which is a Pixar 3310. This is regarded as one of the best sensors out there, and I'll get onto performance a little bit later. Otherwise, you've got a maximum DPI of 4000. You can change this with the DPI button on the underside of the mouse, but because there's no software involved in this mouse at all, if you don't like one of the preset DPI settings, then unfortunately you're going to have to sort of lump it and then change the settings in game. Some people won't mind this at all, but if you're like me, I sort of like to have every game set to the default sensitivity and then just adjust the DPI on the mouse. But some people will be fine, some people won't. I guess it comes down to what you're used to. Otherwise, you've got a polling rate switch. I don't really see many reasons to leave it from the maximum polling rate of 1000, but you can lower it if you ever want to or need to. And then the only other thing to report is that the mouse is rated for a 1 millisecond response time, and then the weight is just a little bit over 100 grams, which for me is probably the perfect weight. But if you are someone that likes to customize the weight of your mouse, then you don't have any additional weights that you can add or take away from this mouse. In terms of performance though, and what this thing is actually like to play games, is actually very positive news. This is a mouse that's purely aimed at purists, and if you don't want any additional buttons, any additional features, then this has got you covered because the performance of this mouse is excellent. The tracking is handled very, very well. I've been playing games like Battlefield 1, and for reference I've been doing my testing on a 120Hz TN monitor, so the footage you're seeing now is basically just for this video, and yeah, it was really nice to use. I found that I was able to be a decent player. I mean, it does matter what mouse you use. It's not like having a mechanical keyboard that can help, but it's not night and day. Having a good mouse makes a very big difference to myself when I'm playing games, and here I found that the mouse kept up with my ability, although I'm sure that is fairly limited. Tracking is good, it's very accurate, and I don't have too many bad things to say about the mouse, other than I wish that I could set a custom DPI rather than having to use the ones that are built into the mouse itself. And if it did have that software and I could allocate different buttons to do different things and I could choose the DPI that I would like, I would personally feel more comfortable using this mouse. And as someone that is used to using additional buttons, so on something like the Corsair M65, which is still my daily driver and still my favourite mouse, I've become so accustomed to having a sniper button that lowers the DPI that I do find it quite a shock whenever I switch. It's not to say I can't do it, but I do find having that sniper button is useful, and obviously that's something you won't find here. You also don't have any RGB lighting, which for me isn't really a big deal. You've got some coloured lighting on the mouse anyway that most people will be absolutely fine with, but there are some people out there that will be RGB diehards, and then of course this won't suit you at all because it just doesn't have those features. And that's pretty much my conclusion of the mouse. Priced at around about £65 at the time of filming, is actually quite a lot of money for a mouse that has relatively few features. If you only care about having a mouse that's good for gaming, nothing else, doesn't have any additional buttons, additional features, then I can recommend this fairly easily. But when you compare it directly to some of its competition from the likes of Logitech, Razer and Corsair, it does become a little bit more tricky to recommend, because even if you don't want a load of other features, it's hard not to argue that they have other features and this one doesn't. But again, it's all going to be down to what you personally use for your gaming needs, what you want from a mouse, and if you do pick this up, I don't really think you'd be disappointed, which is why it wins the recommended award. A massive thank you to Overclockers UK for supplying this review sample. A massive thank you to you guys for watching this video. What do you think? Is this a mouse that you're interested in? Is software important? Is RGB important? Or is it all about the pure gaming experience? Do let me know. I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts. Subscribe for more videos just like this. I'll leave the link to this product down in the description below. And yeah, thanks again. I'll see you in the next video.